Hi guys, it's Tatenda and we're here with the tea. So of course we're here and we're doing tea with Tenda. Yeah, I'm really nervous about this one because it's deep. It's definitely tea. But at the end of the day, if you spill your own tea, no one else can spill it for you. So here I am to spill my own tea. It's a bit of a testimony more than it is tea spilling, but we'll just spill the tea. We're going to be talking about how I met Jesus. I've been going to church since I was 8 years old, let's say. I'm not really sure the exact date, but I know that it was a little while after we had come from Australia. We had come to Australia. Wow. Wow, that's how you know it's real tea, because I can't even put words together in my head because I'm so nervous. So yeah, we had come to Australia and I started to go to church, and then, as you know, in the previous video that I talked to you guys about, I gave my life to Jesus. If you're not sure how that occurred, you can watch the first Tea with Tender video. Sound quality is terrible, I know, I'm sorry, forgive me. Yeah, after that I got into sort of the mid to late teenage years, let's say mid-teenage years, and I got into a relationship. Juice. I got the juice. And essentially the relationship was not great. What's the word that I can use without throwing people under the bus? It was not godly, it was not holy, it was not positive. It just wasn't a great relationship. Now, when I refer to relationships, I also am referring to it can be either a man or a woman relationship, or as in friends, between friends. Yeah, those of you who know, you know. Those of you who don't, you don't. At the end of the day, a relationship is a relationship. It's a connection between two people, whether it be with a best friend, with a boyfriend, with the whatever. Essentially, I got into a relationship and it was quite negative. Yeah, that's the most positive thing I can say about the relationship. It just wasn't a great place to be in. Yeah. Maybe one day I might be able to discuss this a little bit further to help some people out, but just at the present time I'm not ready to delve deep into that portion of my life. And I know that testimonies, they help other people, so at some point I know that I would like to share, but I'll share what I'm ready to share at the present time. Essentially, after I got out of that relationship, I was very, very depressed. I know depression is a very sensitive word. A lot of people use it and they don't really understand, but based on my understanding of depression, I've done psychology, and just what I understand, I would say that I was depressed. I was just out of it. I felt like essentially I was in a pit, and like as in a dug pit, and I was sitting at the bottom of the pit in darkness, and everyone around me would continue to go about their daily lives, but no one could see that I was in the pit. That's how I felt. I felt like I was in a pit, and I was over the point of being sad. As in, I was just at a state of just like a monotone life. I was not happy. I was not, and a lot of people thought it was because a lot of things were happening in my life. I wasn't, hanging around with the people that I used to hang around with. A lot of things were happening in my life. I wasn't doing well at school. Yeah. But essentially, I think those were all catalysts for what was happening to me, which was that I just wasn't happy. I had no joy, I had no peace, I had nothing. I felt like trash. I felt like I don't even have a word to describe how I felt. I just felt like, ugh, like, I don't even know how to explain it. But yeah, so that's where I was in my life, and I think I was maybe 17 to 18 years old at that time. I know, pretty. And it's quite sad because, I felt like no one could see that inside of me I was essentially, I want to say dying, but really I did feel like I was dying. But for a better word, I'd say I was suffering. No one could see that I was suffering on the inside. I think everyone just thought it was sort of, those teenage years, that teenager attitude, that teenager life. But really deep down, I was suffering a lot. It was just me and my pit and my darkness. And obviously at that point in time, you don't speak to God. You don't have a relationship with God at all. Your life does not revolve around Christ, reading your word, with which at that point in from that, I never really read my word anyway until much recently. So yeah, I never got to a point where I was suicidal or anything like that, but I did have a lot of negative thoughts, and obviously that's bound to happen when you are in a state like that. But I just want to thank God that I never got to a point where I had crazy suicidal thoughts like that, because it's not a good place to be at. And I'm forever thankful that I managed to be taken out of that situation before it got too far. And that's essentially because of one person who ended up finding me in my pit, because I did a really good job at hiding it. But when God says it's time, He will give people eyes to be able to see. And that one person is the only person that ever found me there. And a lot of people, they're, blah, blah. People like to speak, but you can never understand the story or the history behind someone, though they may have just appeared out of nowhere. They were a pivotal moment in my life, and the reason that I am here today. Because without them, without God being in them and God using them, I would not be where I am now. And I know that it's nothing but God. That's one thing that I want to really reiterate to people. It's not the person, but it was God. Because I know that no one else could see me, but that person saw me. And people could not see me, but I know that God saw me. And I know that it's God because I did not see anyone being able to take me out of that situation at all. The way that it happened, like, it was just like someone just came through with a hand and just yanked me from my pit. Like, I suffered some whiplash for sure. But that's honestly how I felt. And I know that 100% it's no one but God who managed to take me out of that situation, who brought me there. And from there, I began to hear God speak a lot through that person. God really used that person as a vessel to help me in my life. They really did help me in my life, and I know that it's no one but God. So yeah, have a blessed day, everyone. I love you so much, and I'll see you guys next video.